Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Krendor, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Warhammer Age of Sigmar BattleTome Seraphon as it falls off my leg. This is something we've been waiting for years, and it's finally here, and I'm so excited. Thank you to Games Workshop for sending me this early, so that I could review it and go over it and all that stuff. Here's a fun fact. I made an hour-long review of me going over this entire book, and the files are corrupted. So now I'm doing it again. Wow, it's almost like this is the first time looking at it. Hey, here we go. But anyway, besides that, I just wanted to kind of go over the book, share my thoughts. I'm not a competitive player by any means. I don't play in tournaments. I don't do anything like that. I literally just play casual games, and I've done so for probably like 4 or 5 months now, and then, you know, I build and paint and all that stuff, but I've pretty much been playing since July, but long enough to where I've played many Seraphon games and know a lot of their strengths and weaknesses. So, we got the contents of the book right here. As you can see, everything. You know, your classic table of contents. Then we got the, you know, this big picture of dinosaurs. Looks pretty neat. Reptilian Majesty. So this is pretty much all lore. I'm not really going to go over a lot of this because I think you're probably better off just reading it yourself and getting the book and looking it over yourself and reading, and, you know. If you're a fan of Seraphon Lizardmen, you're probably going to want to get this and read all the lore, because I think there's actually quite a bit that they've changed, especially with the new, how do you say it, Colised? I think it's Colised. I think I said it right. Strength from the Stars. We got this cool little chart thing here. Just a little overview. You got the Dracothins Tail, the Fangs of Sotech, the Coatl's Claw, and the Thunder Lizard, all of which you can pick as like sub-factions or whatever it is. So you can read about their lore, and then the Aeons of War. So it has a whole bunch of more. A whole bunch of more. And then a big thing that goes over all of the units that are available to you in the Seraphon army, which is cool. So there's a lot of stuff to go over here, just in terms of lore and learning all about the Seraphon. And then there's a big picture of Seraphon fighting rats, which is always fun. There they are. And then we got some Cosmic Glory. This will show off a lot of the units, and how they aren't plastic and are still resin. Seriously though, I wish at least like Salamanders and Razordons and Croxagors got plastic models. Not even like updated models, just plastic, man. Just plastic. Because building those Croxagors was one of the worst experiences of building Warhammer models I've had. So yeah. Or even just one new model, but I'm hopeful they'll add a new model or something down the line, but either way. Or new Saurus Warriors would be pretty cool, but I guess that's not happening because they're, you know, showing them off in this book and everything. I don't know. Either way, I'm just happy to get something. I got the Will of the Old Ones here. Got a lot of painting your Seraphon stuff. So it shows off like how to paint your, you know, Carnosaur skins, your monster skins, your bony scales, your other details, monster details, solar engine, wing membranes. I might actually do the wing membrane stuff because I'm very bad at painting those. And then we get to the meat of the whole book, which is the rules and the Warscrolls and all that. Unless you like lore, in which case the meat is back here. Celestial Might, so you got allegiance abilities, battle traits, command traits, artifacts, power. You got your spell lores, your bone spells, your bound endless spells, realm shaper engine, Warscrolls, path to glory, battle plans, Warscroll battalions, Warscrolls, other spells, blah, 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 pitched battle profiles, and allies. Oh, that's right. So one thing I'll show you right now, in the back of the book, we see that Sylvaneth are now an ally along with Stormcast Eternals. That's pretty big. So now, not only can you have Stormcast allies, but you could have some, like, what are they called? Kiranoth Hunters? Maybe throw some of those in for some good shooting, or the sword, like, Sylvaneth, yeah, you got some decent stuff you could throw in there, so that's kind of neat. I figure there must be some lore thing. Maybe the Colised ally with them because they've been in the forest for so long. Listen, I don't know. I actually don't know much about the lore. I need to read this book, but we'll see. Either way, so we have allegiance abilities. This section describes the allegiance abilities available to the Seraphon army. Rules for using allegiance abilities can be found in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar core book. So we have Ways of the Seraphon. After you've chosen Seraphon allegiance for your army, you must either give it the Starborn keyword or the Colised keyword. All Seraphon units in the army gain the keyword, with the exception of models that already have one of the keywords on their war scroll. At the end of your hero phase, you pick a friendly Slan and replace the spell they know from the lore of Celestial Domination. Choose a roll, new spell, rolling again, generate spell. So you get to change your spell every hero phase for your Slan. That's pretty neat. At the start of your hero phase, you can pick one of the following asterisms to be in the Ascendant until your next hero phase. So you used to have to roll for this and you would get it. Now you just choose. So they have pick a Seraphon hero until the end of the phase. You can add one to attack characteristic of melee weapons used by that hero. That's pretty nice. Add one to run and charge rolls, which is one that used to be there. And then pick a friendly Seraphon wizard. You can add one to casting, dispelling rolls. And you can add one to unbinding. So it used to just be +1 to casting. Now it's actually adding in dispelling and unbinding. And you can give it to any wizard. So pretty nice there. So, and you can choose a different one at the start of every hero phase, I believe, because it says at the start of your hero phase. So it seems like you can just rotate whichever one you want for that hero phase. So it's not too bad, honestly. But the Colised, man, this stuff's good. So you get the Coatl's Claw or Thunder Lizard keyword. They all gain that keyword. You ignore modifiers to the Bravery characteristic. Add one to the attack characteristic of Jaws weapons, which is very good because you're going to be using a lot of jaw attacks with them. This one's on the terrain feature. The thing with the terrain feature stuff is I don't really play with terrain. Terrain, I don't know, I can't figure the term. You know how it's like damned, arcane, inspiring, mystical scenery, stuff like that. We never really play with that because it takes too long to like set it up. So we put like terrain and stuff up, but we just don't give it any names or abilities and things like that. So a lot of people that just play casually don't really do that. But now I feel like I'm like, hey guys, let's play with some terrain rules because it helps me. But it pretty much makes it so deadly and sinister terrain don't apply to you, which is pretty neat. And then subtract 1 from damage inflicted by each successful attack that targets a Colised to a minimum of 1, which is probably their best thing, a army-wide -1 damage negation. So if you got a Bastiladon, you take 2 damage, bloop, it's down to 1. Maybe you got a Stegodon, takes 3 damage, bloop, it's down to 2. Like, that is really strong, and it kind of helps make the army. So Colised, very good. One of the reasons they have that is they can't summon anymore. The Starborn army only. So the way this works, I've already read through this like 3 times, especially in video form. The units have 10 bravery, as they do now. And they are summoned in the way they are now. But it seems like there's going to be a lot less summoning. So right now, you can summon with a Slan or Starseer. Actually, let me read this. You can summon Starborn units to the battlefield if you collect enough Celestial Conjuration points. At the start of your hero phase, you receive D3 Celestial Conjuration points if your general is a Slan or Starseer, D3 for an Astrolith Bearer, and D3 before attempting to cast the first spell with each friendly Slan or Oracle. You can say he'll carry out a conjuration. You receive D3 Celestial points. So it used to be you would just, spend all your spells to get conjuration points. Now you can only do it on the first spell. And it used to be you get 1 for being a general, Slan general. Now you get D3. So it's pretty much D3 for the general, D3 Astrolith, D3 Slan spell, and then D3 Oracle spell. So I think that's like a potential 12 points you can get on the first if you roll amazing. But you're probably not going to. And it looks like Skinks are still 6. Then you got Pterodon Riders, Chief, Priest, Warriors, all this stuff at 10. Starseer, Priest, Sunblood, Astrolith, Croc scores are 15. Then you got 20 Source Warriors, 20. Scar Veteran Carno, Bastiladon, 20, and then Stegodon, Skink Oracle, Troglodon, Old Blood Incarnosaur, Stegodon, Skink Chief. Or no, those are 25, and then Skink Chief, Stegodon, and Enter the Gods are 30. It's going to be interesting, because I feel like it's a different way to play with summoning, but I see why they did it, because when you would play before, I know a lot of people like it, but I got so tired of playing where you just summon in Skinks and you take objectives and you retreat and run away. And that's fun for a bit. And then it gets boring, man. I don't know. For me personally, I just got bored of it. So I'm glad they're kind of changing it up. And it's going to be, plus I used to all I would do is run Thunderquake Starhost and summon Skinks. That's like all I would do. So other stuff we got, the end of your movement phase, you pick a friendly Starborn. So pretty much teleporting and summoning all happen at the end of the movement phase. I don't know if you can summon and then teleport. Or teleport and then summon, because you could teleport a Slan or an Astrolith and then summon around them. So, let me know if you know, because I feel like I don't actually know. Or if it like doesn't matter which order you do it in. Because it's all at the end of the movement. Or if there's some sort of order of operations. So, that's, let's see, just check and make sure I got everything. Yep. All right. Then we have command traits. So we have Slan command traits. You can reroll casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls for the general in each hero phase. That's very nice. This general knows one extra spell from the lore table. You already can swap spells out every hero phase, so it's like, unless you're trying to do some sort of combination or like wombo combo, I feel like that's not the greatest. And then on a 4-up, you get a command point, is the other one, which is pretty good. Now the command points are kind of insane for Seraphon, and they used to be completely useless. Unless you're like re-rolling a charge roll. Saurus command traits, re-roll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by this general. Re-roll save rolls of 1 for attacks that target this general. If this general is part of your army on the battlefield at the start of your hero phase, roll dice for it to get a command point. Those are kind of okay. Definitely not overwhelming or anything. And then the Skink command traits. Add 1 to casting rolls for this general if they are a wizard. If they are not, then once per battle, they can use the Herald of the Old One's command ability from the Skink Priest Warscroll without a commands point being spent, which is pretty good, because it's a pretty good command ability, as we'll get to later on. Actually, I can probably just show you right now. Hold on. So, I don't want to wait around and forget I even talked about it. Here it is, Herald of the Old Ones. Pick a friendly Skink unit wholly with an 18. Until the next hero phase, you can add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that unit. Cannot benefit more than once per phase. So yeah, that's pretty good to just use for free. Especially because Bastiladons and Stegodons and all those are Skink units because they have Skink riders. Fun story. Or fun fact, I don't know, whatever you want. Add 1 to this general's move characteristic and add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target them. And then at the start of the combat phase, you can pick 1 enemy hero within 3 inches. On a 4-up, that enemy suffers a mortal wound. That's probably the worst one, honestly. Like 1 mortal wound, so you have to roll a dice. You can only pick 1 hero. They have to be within 3 inches, and on a 4-up, they take 1 mortal wound. That seems so bad. Alright, well, you're pretty much going to take 1 or 2. Unless you got like some crazy thing I'm not thinking of, but okay. Artifacts of power, treasures of the old ones. You got the autofocus, which isn't working. Oh, there we go. Zoetic Dial. After setup's complete, but before the battle begins, secretly record the number of a battle round. At the start of the battle round, reveal the information, and then heal all wounds allocated to the bear. In addition, during that battle round, you can reroll save rolls for attacks that target that bear. It seems good until you realize you have to randomly pick a battle round. So you would have to go all out in that battle round, right? So you'd have to, like, if you say, like, oh, okay, turn 3. On turn 2, you have to, like, go all out with that slan. Like, going in, summoning people, trying to fight, and then turn 3 hits, and you're like, hey, I heal up and can reroll saves. So it's like, you have to plan for it. And if you don't plan well, it's completely useless. So, and he could just die. So, I don't know. Once per battle, you can automatically unbind a spell cast by an enemy wizard, or automatically dispel 1 endless spell within 15 of the bear. That's pretty good. Just getting an automatic unbind or dispel. Prism of Amniatak. Once per battle, at the start of any phase, pick an enemy within 12 inches, roll dice. On a 1, they take a mortal wound. 2 to 5, they take D3. And on a 6, they take D6. Woo! That actually used to be at the start of the movement phase, I think. So now that it's in any phase, that's very nice. Because it used to be really annoying, because I'd be like, oh, I want to warp over with my Slan and hit him with the Prism. But then it was completely useless. So now you can at least, you can do it in the hero phase, you can do it with a teleport, and just try to get a nice little mini burst of somebody down. So that's a nice, like, offensive burst spell. And it's a lot better than that command trait, where roll a 4 up and you get a whatever. So here's at the start of each hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to the bear. In addition, in your hero phase, reroll 1 casting spelling roll for the bear, and in the enemy hero phase, reroll an unbinding roll. That's not bad. Honestly, like, why would you take the first one when you could just take that? That just seems so much better, and you're at least healing 1 wound. For sure. In your hero phase, pick an enemy hero within 12 inches, invisible until your next hero phase. Hero fights at the end, the combat phase. In addition, the hero is a wizard. Subtract 1 from their casting, dispelling, unbinding. Ooh! That's pretty good, too. So you just pick someone, they have to go last, and if they're a wizard, they lose casting, unbinding, and dispelling roll points. So that's pretty good. Anything that makes someone go last in combat's always really good. And add 4 inches to the bear's movement characteristic and 1 to the bear's wound characteristic. So it just makes them a little tankier and faster, but I'm sure in some builds people do. That might actually be pretty useful. Next up, we have the Celestial Relics of the Warrior, which is source. So we have pick one of the bear's melee weapons, improve the Ren characteristic of that weapon by 1. In addition, add 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack made with that weapon that targets a hero. That could be good. Because let's say you put that on that targets a hero. So let's say you put on like a Sunblood, right? Where's the Sunblood? I know I'm like flipping to the back, but I'm Source Guard, Sunblood. So he's got 6 attacks, 3x3 minus 1, 2 damage. So he would have 6 attacks, 3x3 minus 2 damage against a hero? It's not too bad. I'm sure you could combo with something else to have like 6 attacks, or 7 attacks, probably like 2x3. Yeah, I don't know. Each time the bear fights, after all the bear's attacks have been resolved, you can pick one enemy within 1 inch of the bear on a dice. Or roll a dice. On a 1, nothing happens. 2 to 5, suffers mortal wound. On a 6, D3 mortal wounds. It's okay. It's not that great. And then Blood Rage. Add 1 of the attack characteristic of bear's melee weapons if the number of wounds allocated to the bear is equal to or greater than half the bear's wounds characteristic, rounding up. That could be kind of fun if you put that on like Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur or something, and he gets down to like 6. But even then, he's like getting... his tabling is going down, so he's getting worse. I guess, I don't know, because you'd have to be pretty low. But I like the thought process of it, right? It's kind of like a Blood Fury or like a, like Olaf in League of Legends, where he gets lower health, you start doing more damage. I think it's a cool concept. As for how well it works, maybe there's like some combos we got in here you could probably pull off, but I think the first one's probably the best for Saurus, but maybe not. We'll see. Skinks. So let's see here. Artifact of Power. The first time the bear is slain, before removing them from the battlefield, roll a dice. On a 1 to 3, the bear is slain. On a 4 to 6, the bear is not slain. All wounds allocated to them are healed, and any wounds that are currently remain to be allocated to them are negated. Okay, that is phenomenal. Because the old one, you would have to roll a dice, and I think it was like on a 3 or a 4 up, you lived, but you would come back to life, but then you would keep getting hit by attacks, and so you could just die again. So it was like, cool, I'm dead again, even though I just rezzed and got a dice roll to make it so I came back. But now, it's literally like they come back to life, combat's over, and they're just like, hey, I'm back, I'm here. Cool. So that's very good. Subtract 1 This is like an old Skink Priest one, the Cloak of Feathers. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks that target the bear. In addition, add 4 to the bear's movement characteristic, and the bear can fly. That's kind of nice. That could be pretty useful on some Skink stuff. Even a Stegodon. You're subtracting 1 from hit rolls against it, and then a Stegodon's moving an extra 4 inches and flying. Like, oh my god. And then add 1 to save rolls for attacks that target the bear. In addition, add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons used by the bear if they made a charge move in the same turn. Honestly, the Skink ones, I think, are the best out of all of them. Wow. So then we got spell lore. First, we have Celestial Apotheosis. These are slaying only, by the way. Casting value 5. If cast, pick a friendly unit wholly within 18 inches. Heal a wound. In addition, subtract 1 from bravery of enemy units while they're within 3 inches of that unit. If it was a 10+, D3 wounds get healed instead of 1. It's not bad. Walk between realms. You pick someone within 18 inches. They can fly. Okay. Mystical and Foraging. You pick an enemy hero on a 7 that bears an artifact within 12 inches. They take D3 mortal wounds, and on a 5-up, they no longer bear the artifact. So that's pretty good. I think they already had that spell in the old book, but I think they buffed it up a little bit here. Celestial Equilibrium. Cast value of 7. So your next hero phase, add 1 to casting, spelling, unbinding rolls for friendly wizards other than the caster. That's really good. That's literally all your wizards. Not even just pick a wizard. All other wizards. So that's really nice. Stellar Tempest. It's pretty much the same as it used to be. Casting value 8. Enemy unit within 24 inches. Roll dice for each model in that unit. 5-ups or mortal wounds. Maybe it's a little longer range. Maybe it used to be like 20 inches. Now it's 24, but it's pretty much the same. And Drain Magic, casting value of 9. Cast all endless spells within 24 inches that are not bound are dispelled. That's really strong. Like if someone's casting a lot of endless spells, or maybe you're facing another Slan, and they got their Slan on like a tornado, and they got like a wall up, and they got a bunch of endless spells going on. You just go over there, bloop, they're all gone. That's really good. Over here, we have the Skinks only spells. Celestial Harmony. Casting value of 5. If cast, pick a friendly unit wholly within 18 of the caster, invisible to them until your next hero phase. Do not take battle shock tests for that unit. If casting roll is 10 or more, pick all friendly units within 18 of the caster instead of only 1. Oh, okay. So it's like a big bubble instead of just 1. Hand of Glory. Casting value of 6. Pick a friendly unit wholly within 18 of the caster. Until your next hero phase, you can reroll hit rolls with 1 for attacks made by that unit. Extended Astro Matrix. Casting value of 6. Pick a terrain feature within 18 inches. Scenery rules do not apply to that. Okay, so it's like that thing from earlier with scenery or whatever. I'm probably never going to use that, but maybe I will. I don't know. This one is fun. This is like a meme spell. Fiery Convocation. Casting value of 7. Pick an enemy unit within 18 of the caster visible to them until your next hero phase. At the end of each phase of a turn, roll a dice for that unit. On a 6-up, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. This can either be one of the worst or one of the greatest spells, depending on how many 6s you roll. I mean, because there's what? The hero phase, the movement phase, the shooting phase, the charging phase, the combat phase, the battle shock phase. So that's 6 chances. So on average, you should get at least 1. So you make them take D3 mortal wounds. If you get lucky, you get 2, maybe 3 if you're rolling really well. And then if you miss out on a double turn, well, actually, if you do this, then it goes to their turn, and so you get a whole new set of 6 phases to do it in. And then if you get a double turn, you get 6 more. So really, it's 18 chances. So it's like you curse something, and it just has the ability to slowly whittle it down over time. And I think that's really fun. Really cool spell. It's kind of RNG, but kind of wacky. You just throw it on like some guy they have with like 7 to 10 wounds and just hope you get a couple good rolls. I'm definitely going to try it out. We'll see how it goes. I'll end up just rolling like 1s and 2s every time and be like, well, it was useless. Bind Endless Spell. Cast value of 7. Pick an endless spell with an 18, and it gets the bound keywords. You can literally just steal endless spells, which is kind of fun. And then Tide of Serpents is literally Stellar Tempest from over there. but with a casting value range of 12 instead of 24. So a little worse, but they're not slaying, so I kind of expect it. So that's neat. Then we got the Realm Shaper engine, which is the terrain piece, which allows you to garrison. I believe garrison works by it allows you to like stay in there and you get -1 to hit, but you gain a +1 save. I believe is what it is. I'm not actually super familiar with the garrison rules, so if anyone wants to explain it in the comments section down below, feel free. Because I'm sure plenty of other people are also confused. Also, autofocus, please. There we go. And then in your hero phase, if this model is garrisoned by a friendly Seraphon wizard or priest, pick a terrain feature anywhere on the battlefield, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of that terrain feature, add 2 to the roll of terrain features within 18 inches of this model, subtract 2 from the roll if that terrain feature is more than 36 inches from the model, and on a 4-up, they take D3 mortal wounds. So honestly, it's pretty cool to just have for free, because it is free, so you might as well get it and run it. And then makes your guys a little safer, like the Slan or the Priest and whatever you got. But you need at least 20 wounds or less in the garrison. You can't go over, so you can't be like, I got a Slan in here, and I have my Dread Saurian in here. You can't do it. Then we got all these little battalions, or the, I forget what you call them, like sub-factions, whatever they are. So these are the Starborn ones. We have Dracothins Tail. Instead of setting up friendly Dracothins Tail on the battlefield, you place it to one side. So you pretty much place it on the side of the board, kind of like, reserves or deep striking or anything. Except instead of summoning it in just anywhere, it has to be within 18 inches of a Dracothins Tail Slan, 9 inches from an enemy. So pretty much you charge in with the Slan, and then he's like, bleh, and spits out all the units, and then you go attack something, which kind of cool. I'm sure there could be some fun combos with that. There we go. General knows 1 extra spell from the lore of Celestial Domination. In addition, you can reroll a casting, spelling, or unbinding roll. That's pretty neat. And then, first time the bear is slain. So it's the come back to life spell. So they also get the come back to life spell as a Slan. So that's pretty neat. So this one is a very nice, like, it seems like one of those, the Slan tries to survive and summon in a bunch of stuff, and he's got stuff to help him survive, like reroll casting, come back to life, knows an extra spell. So this could be just fun to play around with, honestly. And it gives him time to, like, conjure up some stuff and summon in things. So I like it. I think it's got some potential. Fangs of Sotech is a fun one. So in the first battle round, add 3 to move characteristic of Fangs of Sotech skink units. So they get a little movement at the start. You can use this command ability at the end of the enemy charge phase. If you do, pick a friendly Fangs of Sotech skink unit from the Skinks Warscroll or friendly Fangs of Sotech chameleon skink unit. Holy within 18 of the Fangs of Sotech skink hero. That skink or chameleon skink unit can shoot. After you have resolved all that unit's shooting attacks, roll a dice. On a 4-up, the unit can make a normal move. If it does, it must retreat but cannot run. A unit cannot benefit from this command ability more than once per phase. Then, if the general is part of your army and on the battlefield at the start of your hero phase, roll a dice. On a 3-up, you get a command point. That's very good with the amount of command points you'll be using. And here's my favorite part. Pick one of the bear's melee weapons. At the end of any phase, if any wounds inflicted by that weapon in that phase were allocated to an enemy model and not negated, and that enemy model has not been slain, roll a dice. On a 5-up, that model is slain. Imagine just charging in and hitting like 2 heroes with like, you got a couple attacks. You hit 2 heroes and they're like, 15 to 20 wound models and they fail the save roll and you roll a 5 or a 6. They're just dead. That's so crazy, dude. That's a powerful meme build and there's no way I'm not going to try that. I'm going to try to pull this off so much. And I know for a fact my guy will just die or I'll roll like 3s and 1s. But when you actually pull it off, that's going to be spicy. That's going to be a mamma mia if I've ever seen one. All right, so next up we got the Coatl's Claw. Coatl's Claw? Coatl? I think it's Coatl. Add 1 to hit. So this is for the Coalesce, by the way. Add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Coatl Claw Saurus units that made a charge move in the same turn. So pretty nice if you're charging in with some Saurus warriors or something, or, anything. That's a source. You can use this command ability At the start of the combat phase, if you do pick a friendly Codal Clawsaurus within 24 inches of the hero, that unit counts as having made a charge move in that turn for the purpose of the Savage Incarnate ability. So it pretty much makes it so you get to add 1 to your hit rolls again. And get, any of the charge bonuses. That's really nice, honestly. Then you got the roll a dice. Each time generals issue a command to a friendly Codal Clawsaurus, 4-up, you get a command point. So pretty much on a 4-up, you get your command point back. And then pick one of the melee weapons. If the unmodified hit roll for attack made with that weapon is a 6, inflicts 2 mortal wounds on that target in addition to any normal damage. That's really nice. Like, imagine if you put that in the Sunblood, right? He's got 6 attacks. And then 6s do 2 mortal wounds. So, I mean, you get a couple 6s, and then his hits, or his 6s already pop into 2 additional hits, I believe. So then you're getting a lot of damage in addition to just some mortal wound hits. That's really good. Then we got Thunder Lizard, which has been a big meme one. Add 2 to the wounds characteristic of Thunder Lizard monsters. Very nice. Autofocus. Here we go. You can use this command ability at the end of your shooting phase. If you do so, pick 1 friendly Thunder Lizard Bastiladon or friendly Thunder Lizard Engine of the Gods that is wholly within 18 of a friendly Thunder Lizard hero. It can shoot. Bastiladon can shoot with a solar engine even if it's already shot. Engine of the God can roll again even if it's already rolled. So it allows you to shoot twice with a Bastiladon or roll twice with an engine, which is very nice, especially with the changes to the Bastiladon. I think I'd choose the Bastiladon at this point over that, because if he hasn't been hit, he literally just he shoots 18 times and can do a lot of damage with that. Then we got add 1 to the attack characteristic of the weapons used by this general's mount. And then in your shooting phase, you can pick 1 enemy unit within 12 inches of the bearer, invisible to them. Roll a dice. On a 1, the artifact cannot be used again for the rest of the battle. On a 2-3, nothing happens. On a 4-5, they take D3 mortal wounds. On a 6, they take D6 mortal wounds. So this is another fun little thing. I'm sure that a lot of RNG people will be very mad, but it's... You might roll really well and roll 4, 5s, and 6s consistently and keep doing mortal wounds nonstop. Or you can roll a 1 on your first one and have it be completely useless. So that's pretty neat. And then we've got the tables turned battle plan and the path to glory. So this is all around the campaign, Mortal Realms, stuff like that. Seraphon Warband tables. I don't really know much about this, so I'm not really going to get into it. Then we have the Warscrolls. So we have the Eternal Temple Host, which is one that I don't think many people are going to do, because it's one of those, like, mega battalions. The Slan, Starseer Oracle from this battalion is on the battlefield. Primeval Domain battle trait applies to all terrain features, not just those in your territory. And you need to use a ton of battalion host things. Then, here are the main ones. We got Sunclaw Temple Host, requires 1 Old Blood and 1 autofocus. Hold on. Camera, please. Camera? Camera. There it is. Improve the rend characteristic of Jaws weapons used by the units from this battalion by 1. So all your Saurus Warrior units and your Old Blood or Sunblood get +1 to their Jaws weapons, which is very nice. And I'm kind of curious if you can run this with the Carnosaur, like Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur. I highly doubt you can, or it seems like that would be overpowered, because then he'd get rend from his jaw. But maybe you can. I feel like they feel like they would have put it in the thing, right? I don't know. It's probably just on foot. Firelance Temple Host. Add 3 to run charge rolls for units from this battalion that are wholly within 18 of the Scar Veteran. That's for the Saurus Knights. Shadow Strike Temple Host. If you're in your hero phase, pick an enemy unit that is visible to the Star Priest or Priest from this battalion unit. Until your next hero phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by units from this battalion that target this unit. And then we have the Thunderquake Temple Host. In your hero phase, declare if this battalion will be Swift or Savage. If you choose Swift, you can run and still shoot or charge in the same turn. If you choose Savage until your next hero phase, add 1 to the attack characteristic of melee weapons used by units from this battalion. This also used to happen in the combat phase and not the hero phase, so I'm glad that changed. I'm also glad, or I'm not glad, because they also nerfed the Thunderquake Star Host, but it was pretty strong, so I mean, I expected it to get kind of nerfed. They kind of just broke it up a little bit. Eternal Star Host still takes a lot of Star Host, man. Start of your hero phase, receive D3 Celestial Conjuration points if the Slan, Starseer, Oracle from this battalion's on the battlefield. Sunclaw Star Host. Improve the Ren characteristic of Celestite weapons used by units from this battalion by 1. So that could actually be pretty nice, especially if you got the Sunblood with the Saurus Warriors. Even the Old Blood, but I think Sunblood with that would be pretty good, because that's already -2 then. And I'm sure you can buff them up some other ways. Firelance Star Host. If the unmodified wound roll for attack made with a Celestite weapon by a unit from this battalion's a 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. So that's actually really nice for the Saurus Knights, because they also have a thing where if they're charging, they gain +1 damage. So you pair that up, and you get some spicy Mamma Mias in there. Oh yeah, the Sunblood. That could go really well with the thing I was describing earlier with the Sunblood, where you give him, I think it'd be 7 attacks, and then if you buff him, it'd be like 2x3. 6s do mortal wounds, and you get -2 rend, 2 damage. Yeah, so, I mean, you can make the Sunblood pretty crazy, honestly. Then we got the Shadow Strike Star Host. Instead of setting up a unit from the battlefield, or battalion on the battlefield, placed to a side, so it pretty much can just come off the board in reserve before turn 4. Yep. So that's kind of how the old Shadow Strike Star Host worked. Thunderquake, or I think the old one used to have to do it on turn 1. I don't remember. I never really ran it. In your hero phase, you can heal 1 wound allocated to each unit from this battalion. If the unit wholly within 18 French is slain, heal D3 wounds instead. So the same thing, but I'm pretty sure it's the same thing, right? Yes. So they're making it so if you want the combination from the last Thunderquake Star Host, you have to run both of these for more points. So that's kind of bleh. But at the same time, it was pretty strong. So I mean, and you can't reroll hit and wound rolls anymore, so that kind of sucks. But you have so many +1 to hit rolls that I think it's okay. And then we get to the Warscrolls, but I think I'm going to do that in a different video, because I've already recorded like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of me going over this, so I can't keep going. So I'm going to make it into another video. I'll link it at the end of this one when it's actually up, and if not, click the subscribe button, click the little bell to be notified when I upload stuff, and that video should be coming like tomorrow, because I just need time to rest my voice, and then I can go through these, because these are going to take a little while too. So thanks for watching, listening. Again, subscribe, comment down below, tell me what you think of everything so far. I think all the Warscrolls are up online anyway right now, so if you can just go check those if you really want to, but I wanted to go over the first half at least. So thanks for watching, listening, comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Okay? See you.